This is Civil Discourse Now, with your host, Mark Small.
Hi, I'm Mark Small. This is Civil Discourse Now. We're discussing, again, what's going on in this country, particularly in terms of the 2016 elections and their aftermath. Now, it wasn't like people suddenly realized in 2017 that something hinky had happened in the 2016 elections. During the elections, you had several things come out that were rather alarming, particularly the Republican candidate for President of the United States standing on stage during a debate against his opponent, asking that the head of a foreign state, a hostile foreign power, use his country's computers to hack the Democratic National Committee computers. In other words, the computers of his opponent in the elections. That was a pretty clear indication that there might be some problem. But also, since then, we've had articles come out that show that the New York press was aware for years that the individual who occupies the Oval Office today was in deep to the Russian mob. He'd been laundering money in property deals in New York. And then, what else didn't we know? We didn't know the candidate's income tax returns, their contents. Now, I heard people here in Indiana tell me, well, he doesn't have to disclose his income tax returns. No, he doesn't. There's no law that says he has to. Every presidential candidate since 1976 has, though. But at the same time, he was saying, you ought to elect me because I'm so rich, nobody can get their hooks into me. Well, if somebody's making that claim, then they should provide the evidence to show that they really are that rich. And he's such a savvy businessman, we got to understand we can trust him. So he was withholding stuff, evidence, that would have established the things that he made as claims on why he was such a good candidate for president. Once the election was over, we began to learn other things too. Things that would indicate or tend to indicate that there was collusion and conspiracy between the Republican candidate's campaign and Russia. Now, we're not at war with Russia. And people will say, well, what about treason? You have to be at war with somebody to commit the crime of treason. Well, treason is defined in the Constitution of the United States. It means providing aid or comfort to an enemy or adhering to the enemy. There's no requirement in there that somebody be at war, because you can adhere to an enemy or adhere to someone against the United States and commit treason. If you had to be at war, this country had to be at war for somebody to commit treason, then there are only about 12 years in our country's history that somebody could have committed treason. And there have been prosecutions of people for treason outside of those times of war. Notably, Aaron Burr was prosecuted. He was the former vice president of the United States. And he allegedly was raising an army to try and foment a war with Spain down in the Louisiana, southern portions of Louisiana Territory, a long time ago. But the notion is this: if someone uses fraud and illegal means and conspiracy with a hostile foreign power to take that office, and we remove that individual from office by legal means, say impeachment or the 25th Amendment, then what that individual accomplished for the foreign power, chaos, is in place. That's not sufficient. We have to have a remedy at law to be able to stop what, in this case, Vladimir Putin was successful in getting. The Constitution doesn't specifically provide for that remedy, but court cases in the United States have said that remedy exists. We'll discuss that further in the next segment and other segments of this show. This is Civil Discourse Now. I'm Mark Small. I'm a lawyer in Indianapolis, Indiana. Full disclosure, I represented folks before the United States Supreme Court in 2017 in a case that challenged the 2016 election precisely on the grounds we're going to discuss. On tech today is the big kahuna himself. Look forward to seeing you next segment. Thank you.
I have had enough. I gasp for breath. Every way ends. Every road Every footpath leads at last to the hill crest. Then you retrace your steps, or find the same slope on the other side. For this beauty without strength, chokes out life. I want wind to break, scatter these pink stalks, snap off their spiced heads, fling them about with dead leaves. Spread the paths with twigs, limbs broken off, trail great pine branches hurled from some far wood. Break pear and quince, leave half-trees torn, twisted, but showing the fight was valiant. Oh, to blot out this garden, to forget, to find a new beauty in some terrible wind-tortured place.